Welcome to Health Oddity, the show that strips away the jargon and hype surrounding all things health and fitness to help you live a long, strong and energetic life. Lining up at the bar this week, here's Peter Lant and James St. Pierre.
Hello and welcome to the Health Oddity podcast, episode 301. We are here today, it's myself and Mr. Peter Lant having a bit of a catch-up breather episode following a few weeks of fantastic guests. Obviously last week, episode 300, we were rejoined by Mr. Dan John. Episode 299, we were with Dr. Kyle Hulsibus. I believe, Hulsibus, from Illinois, third generation chiropractor. Episode 298, we had James Crozier with us talking all about integrated strength. Prior to that, we talked about why is motivation a myth? And prior to that, we were joined again by Mr. Stevie Shanks. So, we got a few things we're going to talk about today. The first one being that for I think it's the third year in a row, the Health Oddity podcast will be sponsoring Britain's Disabled Strongman, which is organised by a friend of the show, Gary Clark. Gary Clark? It's Gary Clark, isn't it? Yeah, Gary Clark. Gary Clark, yes. And we will this year, we can announce on the podcast that this year it will be on September the 12th and it will be at Bath University or University of Bath, whichever of the two it is. So it's very handy for Pete. He can actually stay in his own house. He can stay in his own bed, stay in his own house.
Walk up the hill in the morning and I'm there.
Walk to us and do it. But yeah, we will both be there, along with I think Alex, former guest on the show, Alex Nicole Bennett will be there. I think Stevie Shanks is going to be there as well. I think. Yeah, that's what I heard from Gary. And I think also Mr. John Valgear Williams, who's been on the podcast before, will be there as well. I've been told he's going to be there. And his son, but I couldn't remember his name. We couldn't remember his name the other week, but it's Eric.
Yes.
Eric the Viking. And now I remember Eric the Viking. Yeah, so John and Eric, big strong Eric will be there. So yes, that's going to be fantastic. So I mean, really looking forward to that. Are you looking forward to that, Pete?
I am. It's going to be great because, like you said, it's going to be a Friday setting up and that, and then it'll be a full day. So it's one day this year, isn't it? Yeah. And it's I will say, I mean, whoever is listening to this, whether you're in Bath or not, there might be some people who are. It's a free day, and we're going to get. So the last couple of years, it's been at Brunel University, but nobody knows anyone in Uxbridge or at Brunel University, do they? So you know what I mean? Whereas it's going to be in Bath, and I'm going to invite everyone from the walking group. I'm in some business networks, all of that sort of stuff. I'm going to try to get people to bring their kids along as well, because, there's lots of kids these days struggling with pressures of school and life in general and all this. And it's just a really inspirational event, isn't it? For people to go along and see, I have got problems. Everyone's got problems, all of that. But you watch these guys competing and it just changes. It can change your view on things. And it's amazing to see. So it's just a great spectacle. So yeah, we're going to try and get as many people as possible.
Yeah, it's going to be fantastic, isn't it? And the thing is, like you say, it's usually kind of 2 short days. Yeah. But this time it's going to be one long day. So we're going to be there on the Friday, kind of setting up in the afternoon / evening. It's going to be all day on the Saturday. Then we'll be packing up, and then we'll probably go out for some food and a drink in Bath on the Saturday night. So yeah, it's going to be very, very good. So I'm sure we will have Gary back on again at sometime between now and then, to talk about it and to talk about what it's doing. But really, really good. Different location. Down in Bath, not a million miles away from people like Lawrence Charlet, Paddy Haynes, people like that. We might be able to see if we can get anyone else involved and coming along to it.
And one of the guys who comes on our walks, he's actually one of the captains, one of the leaders, a guy called Robert. His wife is going to be the next mayor of Bath. So I'm going to try and get her to come as well.
Brilliant. No, that'd be fantastic. Yeah, no, it's going to be great. Going to be a really good event. And speaking of Paddy Haynes, I know we're kind of recording this, obviously, spoiler alert, this is not being recorded live and going out live. But Mr. Peter Lamp was at the North Somerset show recently.
Yep.
And Mr. Paddy Haynes, the dark horse, was there, wasn't he? What was his capacity? What was he doing there?
His capacity was taking up quite a lot of space. No, he was like comparing it and stuff like that. He was just like a special guest. Because the guys who do it, I don't know them very well, but Ryan Hedges was in it. Remember him? He was one of the help. Was it one of the loading crew? I saw that
he was there. Yeah.
So he was there. Reese was there as well. I think he's
Haymaker.
Yeah. So he was there. He comes along to the disabled strongman stuff, doesn't he? So Jack.
Because Reese is Louise Weir's other half.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I think he is anyway. At the time of recording, I think they were, because I mentioned that to Paddy as well. Because I told Paddy about the disabled strongman.
Yes.
But yeah, and then who else was there? Jack Cleave, who's the chiropractor who does he's involved in all of that stuff. So yeah, it was really cool. I've been to it before. They did the first one 7 or 8 years ago, and I went along to that. But we haven't been back since. And I think Loz was at that one. Martin Ty did the heaviest. He did a 505 deadlift, which was the heaviest deadlift ever, seated or standing or whatever at the time. Gary was actually there, but I didn't know him.
Before you knew Gary.
I didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
I just went down with Sean. So yeah, it was just good to go back, and I said hello to a few of them, and they didn't have a clue who I was.
Did you have your Health Oddity t-shirt on?
I didn't know.
No.
No, I just said hello to people, saw a few people and stuff like that. But it was really cool. It's a great event. So it's actually an agricultural show, and the whole idea was that that's where kind of Strongman started, wasn't it, on farms and stuff like that. So that was the idea of getting it involved there. But it was just really funny because everyone's there to see cows and dogs doing agility stuff and sheep and that, tractors and quads and horses with horse brasses on and all that sort of stuff. It was dead funny because it was a bit like Bob Fleming on the Fast Show.
I was going to say, it sounds like something of a Country File or something.
Yeah, but it was Bob. Yeah. The thing about these old horse brasses is, and the guy, there was a guy sitting. He was a bit like Steve Gardner, actually. Yeah. There was a guy, but he was sitting in this turret on his own, just chanting, talking away, chuntering away about these horse brasses. So there's these massive, Shire type horses, huge.
Yeah, I love those
Shire brasses all over them and everything. They looked amazing. But the way he was talking, he was so into it and how the brasses fit and where they should go and how the thing and all that. And it was just it was one of those things you could use his voice to go to sleep to for me, because I'm not interested in it, right?
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's good or bad or anything like that, but I was like, oh, that would be lush to just put on in the night at night and you just drift off to.
Yeah. Oh dear.
No. Yeah, anyway, so the Strongman event is on at that, which was great, but it was hilarious because there's lots of people watching and they're obviously like, what's going on here? How heavy is that? And because people aren't into it who are there. So we were watching it, and there'd be parents there with their kids, and the kids are watching it, and the parents would be like, Should we go and look at something else now? And the kids are like, no, I want to stay and watch this. It was brilliant. So yeah, they had a massive crowd around them. It was great.
Yeah. Oh, that's really good. No, how far is that from your house? Is that from Bath?
45-minute drive or something.
Quite close. Yeah. No, that's great. No, brilliant. No, well, I'm looking forward to coming back to Bath. That was a lovely place, obviously, and that'll be obviously we visited last year on the walking weekend. Around June last year, I think we were there with you. So yeah, going back to Bath now is going to be really, really good.
But the uni's great as well. They've got great facilities up there. Like a lot of the rugby players and what have you, some of them train up there, I think. And then they've obviously got lots of the Olympic athletes train for the skeleton. Up there as well, and there's disabled fencing and there's all sorts. It's really well equipped. It's a great venue, so I'm well looking forward to it.
Yeah,
I went up for the first time a couple of weeks ago with Gary for the meeting, and then we've got another meeting with the marketing department in a couple of weeks as well. So that'll be quite nice.
Oh no, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be really, really good. No, it's gonna be fantastic. And your walking is going well, isn't it? Now that we're kind of into into sort of spring, almost early summer, really, isn't it now? So that seems to be going
Absolutely.
really, really well.
Yeah, we've got record numbers. We had 59 people last Saturday, one short of 60. But there was some
Mm.
other people who wanted to come, but I'd had to cap one of the walks, and there was people going to bring their friends, but they didn't. They probably could have done it, would have been all right, but people respect that. So yeah, we had 59 people then. We had 52 last night. So on a Wednesday evening. 50.
Wow, that's great.
I know, it's great for a Wednesday. And there was a lady who was there who was on the first ever Wednesday walk, which was pretty much 2 years ago this month.
Mm.
It was 2 years ago this month, and there was four of us.
Mm.
And then there was like 52. And that was because
Yeah.
a couple of people dropped out. So yeah, if anyone's ever visiting Bath or whatever, just look us up. You know what I mean? It's walkbath.co.uk.
Mm.
Go on there and click the big green button, join the app, and you can come on a walk.
Excellent. No, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, like a couple of weeks back, Dr. Kyle said, didn't he? He's obviously from Illinois, but he had visited. I think he said he visited Bath as a student or something like that when he was maybe a teenager. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because we had him on, and then we also had Chris Ryan a few weeks prior to that, who had been to Bath as well, hadn't he? So we've got a couple of kind of American guests recently, who they've travelled around Europe and around the British Isles and been to Bath.
Well, this is on the tour. This is on the thing. I mean, like you go into town in certain parts of the year, there's just like American and Canadian tourists everywhere. You go, there's one of the local pubs, the Raven, which does pie and mash. You go in there on a Sunday afternoon, it's full of Americans.
Excellent. No, well, I was going to touch as well on this a post I did earlier in the week actually, which was about again, I've done a couple of posts recently around strength training for older people, and it was really good. I had a lady who does come to the gym. She does Pilates, who's a member of the gym, Gainer, her name is, and she also does the pure strength, and she does personal training. So she's kind of like really into the strength training now, and she is in her 50s. And she mentioned a lady who I haven't met her yet. She's coming in tomorrow, but I think she's around maybe 60-ish, who does Pilates with her, does loads of walking, but has recently been diagnosed with osteoporosis and wants to start doing some strength, has been told to start doing some resistance training, start doing some sensible strength training. So she's going to join us on our latest kind of strength program, which kicks off next week. Hopefully she's coming into the gym to kind of have a look around. So it's so important. And I had one of my posts I did the other week was of a lady, Wendy, doing a loaded carry. And I'd sort of said that women want to try and build up to doing a loaded carry with 2/3 body weight, so a third body weight in each hand for a farmer's walk, for a minute, and men body weight, so 50% in each hand for a minute. And then someone on there kind of commented. It's so funny. You get these comments. Yeah, and someone had commented, but she's let me just sort of see if I.
How dare you? No, they shouldn't. I can't.
No. It was like, but the way they kind of said it to me was like, let me have a look.
Is it the way they said it or the way you read it? Because that's the thing about comments.
Yeah, and if people use exclamation marks,
you can read it. It's like emails. Anything that's in text, you can read it in a different way to how they meant it, and they can mean it in a different way to how you read it, and all of that stuff.
Yeah, no, totally. Where was it? Oh no, here it is. So someone has questioned. This is one of these posts that's kind of gone a bit viral. Someone said, as a newbie, what are the benefits of this carry? And then I put grip strength, work capacity, and posture. And then someone underneath had put, you forgot helping the force needed to help the body keep bone density, exclamation mark. Very important for women, especially postmenopausal women. And I kind of just said, how dare you? Piss off. No, I said, I talk about building and maintaining muscle mass and bone density as a benefit of resistance training regularly. I was asked about the benefits of this specific carry.
Yeah,
they've liked that reply, because it's like if every time I answer a comment, I write a list of all of the benefits of strength training. But
exactly.
it's, yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. People say, what are the benefits of this? And it's like, how long have you got?
Yes. Yeah.
What do you want me to say?
Yeah.
Because it's funny.
Yeah.
But
but people around, it's good getting that engagement. People are obviously asking questions. People are, are wanting to know more. People are asking questions, which is great. And the other thing was that I wanted to talk about, which is to touch upon. We spoke last 2 weeks ago when we had Dr. Kyle on about purpose, and
yes.
how is purpose like the missing health metric. I think was something that we talked about in that episode, and it was a conversation that I like with many of the things we talk about on this podcast. It was a conversation that I had with a member of the gym who, how it originally happened, they sent me a message and said that they're currently doing 2 personal training sessions a week. And they sent me a message and said, "Oh, I'm thinking, can I reduce down to one? I'm really struggling to get to do 2 sessions. I think it's too much for me." And I kind of just thought, well, let's have a conversation around this, and no problem if that's the right thing, but let's just have a chat. And I hadn't caught up with this member for a while. She's not someone that I train. And then we sat down, and it was it, and what it actually was. I'm really glad we sat down, because the sessions were currently on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. So they were 2 consecutive days. And I was like, well, is it that it's too much doing twice a week, or that they're the wrong days? Can we move one of them to a different day? Is that going to make a difference or improve things? So, but we had a bit of a deeper conversation around, I suppose, the reason I mentioned purpose and around focus, and the fact that they just felt that they were drifting a bit without a purpose, without a focus. And it was just a really nice conversation. I mean, you probably have these conversations with people while you're walking, and we obviously have the conversations on the podcast a lot. And we really kind of dug into a few things and found that actually this person wanted to do more, but they just needed more of a structure in place to kind of adhere to or to follow, because they weren't really, they were kind of just like drifting without a structure. So we sat down and we really like wrote out the 7 days of the week, what you do each day, what would you like to do each day, how can we make things better, how can we added in a few classes. So actually we ended up adding more stuff in, but just the different days that they weren't training, and taking the pressure off some days, spreading things out across the week. And then, touch wood, since we had that conversation, this person is much more, the attendance is much higher. They seem to be really on it. They seem to be kind of firing on all cylinders, and things are going really well. So I think I'm glad I had that conversation, because so often, we've spoke about this before, when people get a bit overwhelmed, or when people don't really know what to do, they kind of either want to give up or do less, or we've said about shedding sort of ballast over the side of the boat or the hot air balloon or whatever, so they feel like, let's just get rid of some stress and then everything's going to be better. And it sometimes it's just a case of looking at the structure.
Yeah, I mean, I've got loads of thoughts on that, but I started thinking quickly about you basically changed density, but in a way that instead of doing 2 days back to back, you move 1 day. So you're doing the same amount of days, same frequency, but you've changed the density, because you're not doing 2 days back to back. So within 48 hours, you've done 2 sessions. You're doing it within 72 hours or whatever. So that's a weird way of looking at density, I suppose, but it kind of it
makes sense. I think
allowing recovery in as well. So
because I think it was a Tuesday and a Wednesday, and now it's a Tuesday and a Friday.
Yeah,
so it's really like an extra couple of days there in between.
It splits the week up nicely as well. But the other thing that I was thinking is, when you feel like you're going to start drifting, that's where purpose matters, because you know why you're doing it. But that doesn't always work necessarily. You have to have a very, very, very strong purpose, because there's the whole thing You'll remember this from back in the day. Like, keep asking why. Why do you want to lose weight? Why do you want to?
Yeah, and you ask about 5 or 6 times, don't you? Why do you want to lose weight? Well,
but
so
you
why?
get
Well,
the,
why? Well, why?
and
Why? And you just keep.
it's funny because in the podcast world, when we spoke to Dan John once about this, he said people come up with the soft reasons, right? For my kids, for this, for that, which is a perfectly good reason, but it's the reasons, it's the standard response, isn't it? It's like, do you mean that? Because if you meant it, you would have done it already. You know what I mean? So it's like you got to come up with a really, really strong purpose, not just not why, just a strong, like, real belief. And that'll rather than pushing you. I always think of it like this: rather than pushing you to do it, it pulls you to do it because it's somewhere in the future. But again, if you look too far in the future, that can create anxiety about like, well, I don't know what's going to happen and all that. And it's like, it doesn't matter because something will if you do this today. So it pulls you there rather than pushing you from behind. So that's the way I think about it. And then the other thing is routine can get boring, and it does get boring. And, and people are then like, oh, I want to change up the routine, or I want to become more spontaneous. And it's like, but spontaneous training doesn't really get you the results that you're after. It feels good while you're doing it, but it doesn't really get you the results you're after. You need a bit of a structure. But then all you need to do is just change the days, or just pick a couple of different movements that do the same thing, but like a push and a pull and all that. Do something slightly different. Change it up for a while and see how it feels, and then you're more likely to stay. You're more likely to adhere to it. You're more likely to do it. So there's a couple of things there which are very simple tweaks, but I don't actually take much thought, and that's the thing, I think. Because when people start drifting, it's like to me it comes down to what the hell am I doing this for anyway? You know what I mean? What's the point? And it's like, well, there is a point, and that's the thing. You've just got to decide what that is.
Yeah, this kind of reminds me of when we spoke a few weeks back about is motivation a myth? Because we kind of talked about the importance of sort of discipline, habit, routine, environment, community, all of that sort of stuff, didn't we? And like myself, like you, I don't really need a lot of variety in what I do training wise. You know what I mean? And I know you don't. You just kind of have a program, and you can actually and it was quite. They did used to talk about this a lot in terms of, muscle confusion, or, the body gets used to something. So then you have to keep changing it up to keep the body guessing. And then you're going to keep making progress, And that was really.
And then if you do the same thing over and over again too many times, you get overuse injuries and all that sort of stuff as well.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know. I don't seem to experience that.
No, I mean, so this used to be quite an accepted philosophy or principle like 20 years ago, 30 years ago, maybe. But from my experience and from your experience and from working with Paul and things, I think if you stick with the same, and Dan talks about it, doesn't he? Where he talks about like variation or variety being like mild, wild, or none. When you come to change, a wild variation might be going from training with barbells to kettlebells, or going from powerlifting to Olympic lifting, or going from calisthenics to endurance training or something like that. Mild might just be going from a flat bench press to an incline bench press, or to a standing overhead barbell press. And no variation is obviously just sticking with the same. And he actually says, sticking to the same program, for months on end, if you can do it, it's going to give you the best results, really.
Yeah.
The only way you're changing things is just to stimulate the mind, and if you're that kind of person,
So it's funny because that's where the brain takes over, doesn't it? And you're like, this needs changing up because it doesn't feel like it's working anymore. And just changing it up isn't gonna necessarily work either. It's because you've got stronger, fitter, or whatever. So actually, the gains become more marginal, or less, more marginal. Is that right? Anyway, less.
Yeah.
To get from here to here feels like it takes a lot more because in the beginning, you're going to get beginner's gains. So if you decide, I don't know, if you're lifting weights in any particular way, getting stronger, and then you go, I'm going to start running, you're going to get better at running very quickly. And then you're going to go, well, I should do more running then. And it's like, well, you could do, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if it's taken away from doing the weights and you want to get stronger, it's that you're going to lose some strength. It's just going to happen. So, it's having the purpose. Why are you doing it? Do you want to be able to run faster, further? Do you want to be able to get stronger? Do you want, like, whatever you want to do? You do it. You do the things that get you there, right?
And I think also we spoke about this before, that people want change when things start getting hard. It's almost like you want to change because things are getting hard. So you may make the excuse of, oh, I'm bored, or but really it's starting to get hard. So you want to try something different that's going to be easy. And then, like you say, you'll get those gains again from doing something different. You'll get that fresh stimulus and you'll feel like you're improving again from doing something new. Because I went out yesterday and did some running. I think yesterday was I've got the Nuclear Fit this Sunday, and that's 6 1K runs with like strength kind of exercises in between. And I went out.
Not high rocks.
It's outdoors. It's in fields. It's kind of more like you said about farm stuff. It's more like you're carrying like 2 milk churns either side of you, and and carrying this big kind of urn or something in front of you for a front carry, and sandbags over yokes and stuff like that, or over bars and things like that. And all the running is around like fields and woodland and stuff. So it's all kind of outdoors, which is quite nice. Yeah, so that's quite nice. So yesterday I went out and I did 6 times 7 minute kind of runs. So I did 7 minutes, then I just had a rest afterwards, and I was doing a bit of work on my phone and filming a few videos and sending some messages to people. Then I just do the next 7 minute run. So I wasn't really, like I said, I wasn't worried about the density of the session. I wasn't timing my rest. So right, I run for 7 minutes, I rest for 2, then I run for 7. It was like I run for 7 minutes, I kind of do a few jobs that I need to do, I recover, I'll run for another 7 minutes. It was very relaxed, and I did the 6 7 minute runs, which was really, really good. And it's starting to get easier. It's starting to feel good. And then I'm kind of thinking, I've only been doing that like once a week. But then I'm thinking, well, it's like I always say this. I was talking to Guillaume the other day. Like, I know you don't really do them much now, but when we used to do like the Strong First certifications, and you build up to do the snatch test. And it was a thing that you'd have to build it. You train, you get the snatch test, the 100 reps with the 24 kilo in 5 minutes or less. And then when you get there, it feels really good because you're there. And when you can do it comfortably and easy, it feels quite good. And then I always used to say, we always said to Gio, we should just do one snatch test every week. And then you're just you're just there the whole time. You just maintain that level now that we're there. And you never do it, And then when you have to do it again, you just have to build back up to it, But in my mind, I was thinking, after I've done this event on Sunday, I'll just go out and run still once a week. It's really, it's quite pleasant. It's quite nice outside, and it feels good, and I feel good doing it. But I will really try and maintain that, going out and running once a week, because not putting any pressure on myself, but just doing it for a bit of fun.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I just do that through walking anyway. Like, it was funny because Paul put up a post because
yesterday or the day,
I got another PB because I'm basically every training session is a PB at the minute, which is great. But he put something up and he just said about me doing a lot of walking, and somebody asked in the comments what type of walking does he do. They wanted to know because they wanted to get into rucking and all that, and I was basically like, I just go for a walk. So. I said I set the target to 6 million steps a year, and that's my thing. And then it's like it doesn't matter what I do on the day as long as I try to get 6 million at the end of the year, which I have done for the last 3 years. So it's like right, that's what pulls me towards it. So I know all the hills. Like there's hills around Bath. They're all about 200 meters elevation. So I just pick one and walk up it most days. I think I average about 8 miles a day, but some days I'll do 15, some days I'll do 2. It doesn't really matter.
Because did you say, I think your average daily steps is about 16,000, is it?
No, it's about 18 or 19.
Okay. Yeah.
Something like that. Anyway, it's about 8 a bit miles. It's actually about 21,000 at the minute, but that'll tail off over summer because it'll get too hot. And I'll be able to take the boy out during the day. So And I'm not that good in the heat anyway.
Yeah.
But I just basically said I do that. So I know that if I go out and do a hill, I've done 200 meters of elevation, which is like 600 feet or whatever.
Yeah, about 3 feet, about 3 feet per meter, isn't it?
Yeah. Or I'll do another one as well. So I'll do double the amount. And then on the longer walks, I might do 600 meters, so I'm basically walking up a mountain a week at least. Some days, and then it just averages out. So I was like, I don't overthink it, because that would start to overcomplicate it. And then that's what I kind of do with training as well. I don't overthink it. And the goal is just to get to the 6 million for the walk-in, but I don't even think about that. I just go out and check every month and go, have I done roughly 500,000? And that's basically it. And because the overcomplicating of things, and then trying to push the result makes it harder. Whereas you just go, I just need to do today's session, and that is it. So that's where keeping it up for me. So keeping up the running or whatever for you, keeping up the snatch test, let's just do it once a week. It's like, well, why? Why?
Yeah. I was just looking at mine, because I just set myself, I think, the goal of, because last year, I think we spoke about this before, I've set myself an average for this year, an average daily steps. Last year was 9,551 average steps per day for the whole of 2025. And this year, for 2026, I said, right, I want to do an average of 10,000. Yeah. So at the moment, my average so far, after we were a third of the way through the year, because we had 4 complete months, is 10,462 per day. The average for the last 7 days is like 11,988, so 12,000 basically. And like yesterday, I did 16,000. So yeah, it's just, and I do enjoy just keeping a look at that, because so many people that I talk to at the gym, even people who train and they're quite, they are health conscious, because they're in this, working from home, say 3 days out of the 5, and then going into an office 2 days out of the 5 or something like that. When they work from home, sometimes they're getting like 2, 3, 4,000 steps, and that's doing that 2 or 3 days a week really knocks your average down like massively. And even when they go,
it's an easy thing to manage as well, because if you've only done half the amount the day before, you just go out and do a couple of, it's like calories. You just do 2,000 more steps for 3 days and you've got 6,000 back. You know what I mean? So it's like calories. Like if you're going to eat loads at the weekend, you just have 200 or 300 calories less during the week for 5 days, and you've got 1,000 calories to play with. Or whatever.
Yeah. Because I think though that some people, even when they go to London, they might still only get maybe like 8,000. You know what I mean? So they're never, So I think, and steps is just one of these simple things that I know a lot of. It's getting very popular now. I mean, we've been talking about it for years, haven't we? But it is something that's getting very, very popular now, for encouraging people to walk more.
What you get though is lots of people go. So 7,000's the sweet spot.
The 777.
Before. No, but 7,000 was the sweet spot for all-cause mortality. Anything more than that is a bonus. Anything less, you've got more chance of all of that stuff. But then 10,000 people go, yeah, that was a Japanese marketing thing, and it's like, well, it might have been, but it's not bad for you.
It's still a good number to aim for. Yeah,
exactly. It's not. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not like you're going to die if you do 10,000. It's like everyone's going to die anyway, so it doesn't matter. So it's like. It's one of those people start to overanalyze it. How many steps? Well, how many? It's like, do as many feels comfortable for you. That's it, and then start, and then that's a good place to start.
It's like someone always, whenever we talk about drinking water, and you might say to someone like, oh, try and have 2 to 3 liters a day, of water, and someone will always say, oh, but can't you die if you drink too much water? And like you say, it's this.
You can.
It's
more than that.
This over analyzing of like, and usually it's like someone who's drank, like they've done an ultra marathon or something, and they've drank like 10 liters of water, and they've just basically just sweated or urinated out like all of their electrolytes and every, all their nutrition from their body, and they've just because they've drank like 10 liters or 15 liters or something. And you think literally just like having 2 or 3 liters of water a day is not going to be that, but people have heard this and they kind of internalize it, and they somehow think I don't know if they think it's going to happen or not, but it's strange.
No, but it's this is how the brain works though, doesn't it? It just wants to keep you safe from change. It doesn't like change. So you'll say that to people and they'll go, yeah, but I might die if I drink too much water. And it's like, so I'm not going to. And it's like,
yeah, it's an objection.
When actually, what would you say? Actually, that's not, it is true, but not true just with 2 liters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do me. It's funny. It's amazing. Like you say, but again, this is all, and it's the confusion around everything, isn't it? It's the confusion around nutrition.
But if that can happen with water, imagine how can that happen with protein? Oh, it'll damage my kidneys. It's like what it might do if you've got a kidney. We spoke about this with Dr. Nancy, didn't we? If you've got a kidney problem, then check it out. But if you haven't, probably tell your doctor anyway or whatever, but it'll probably be fine. So it's
like everything, isn't it? It's the poison is in the dose, so like it's sun, isn't it? You always think, when I did the thing when I was out yesterday and said get out and get some sunlight, and then you've always got someone say, oh, but sunlight gives you skin cancer, or the sun, and it's like, it's always there's always a comeback, there's always an objection, and taken to the extreme, anything is bad, like those loaded carries. Going back to that, I get people commenting on, oh, it causes compression of the spine, and you're like,
well, so does standing up. Getting out of bed in the morning does that, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I'm talking, they're looking at a lady carrying a 18-kilo kettlebell in each hand, and I'm like, well, if you do any deadlifting, you're going to be deadlifting more than that, and it's not going to, if you're healthy, if you've got nothing wrong with you, it's going to help with bone, and then you've got the other thing about, well, you need it to build bone density and all the rest of it. So it's just, there's always an objection, and the objection usually comes from, it's almost like an excuse as to why someone doesn't do it.
The funny thing is, and it is right now, and this might change in the future, but I doubt it, it's indisputable that it's good for you to lift things, appropriate weights for you. Based on where you're at right now, it's good for you. It just is, and everything points to that. And it's just indisputable. So, but people will still find a reason not to, which is fine, because not everyone wants to, but that's fine. But it's like they'll try and find a reason. A lot of people will try and find a reason why they shouldn't. It's like, that's cool, but you probably should.
No, each to their own.
Yeah, totally. But it's when it's not excuses. It's when people come up with reasons that they can't. And it's
objections.
Yeah,
doing it. Yeah. Do me. Anyway, that was a good catch up. That was nice to have a little. Always like these little chats, these little catch ups. And like we say, we'll definitely have Gary Clark back on at some stage when we get slightly nearer to Britain's Disabled Strongman on the 12th of September. So and anyone who's anywhere near kind of the southwest of England in that weekend or on that weekend, it'd be really great to see some of you. Pete and I will be there the whole weekend, obviously, like the whole day, helping out, setting up, taking down, assisting throughout the day. So if you're around, make sure you come and say hello. But we will have Gary on before to talk more about that. Brilliant. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching and listening. Please do give us a follow, like, share, subscribe on YouTube, leave a review if you're watching or listening on a platform that allows you to do so, especially Apple Podcasts. And we will be back next week with episode 302. Until then, see you later. Bye-bye.
You've been listening to Health Oddity with Peter Lant and James St. Pierre. To get your regular fix of hype-free health, you can subscribe and leave a review wherever you get your favorite podcasts. You can find out more on today's and other topics at healthoddity.com or find us on Facebook or Instagram by searching for Health Oddity.